Jennifer Hudson's story is not just about fame or success, it is about endurance. Her life has been marked by pain that most people can barely imagine, the kind of tragedy that does not fade with time but instead becomes part of who you are. Long before the world knew her for awards, music, and Hollywood recognition, she was already learning how to survive unimaginable loss. Her journey began with heartbreak that no one should ever have to experience in a single moment. Jennifer lost her mother, her brother, and her young 7-year-old nephew in a devastating family tragedy that shattered her world completely. In an instant, everything familiar disappeared. The foundation of her life collapsed, leaving behind silence, grief, and questions that would never fully be answered. After that moment, she stepped away from the public eye. Fame suddenly felt distant, almost irrelevant compared to the weight of what she had endured. The world paused, but her grief did not. She was not just mourning people she loved, she was mourning the version of life she thought she would always have. But Jennifer Hudson did something remarkable. She returned. And when she came back, she did not return broken in the way many expected. Instead, she returned transformed. There was pain in her eyes, yes, but also strength. A quiet kind of resilience that cannot be taught or faked. She carried her loss, but she refused to be defined only by it. She kept singing. She kept acting. She kept showing up. Because that is what survivors do. They don't erase the past, they learn to walk with it. Her voice became more than just a talent, it became a symbol of survival. Every performance carried emotion that could not be manufactured. Every stage she stepped on became a reminder that even after devastation, life continues. Yet behind that strength, Jennifer was still human. Still healing. Still searching for something stable to hold on to. And eventually, love entered the picture again. After enduring so much personal loss, Jennifer Hudson found herself stepping into a new chapter, one that offered hope for stability, family, and emotional safety. She met David Otunga, a relationship that seemed promising from the outside. He was intelligent, ambitious, and supportive in appearance. The relationship moved forward, and eventually they became engaged and welcomed a son together. To the public, it looked like Jennifer had finally found balance. A successful career, a growing family, and the possibility of long-term stability. But behind closed doors, reality told a different story. What seemed like a strong foundation slowly began to crack. Reports of controlling behavior and emotional tension began to surface. The warmth that once defined the relationship started to fade, replaced by pressure and discomfort. Instead of peace, Jennifer found herself in an environment where she no longer felt fully safe or emotionally free. Eventually, the relationship reached a breaking point. Jennifer made the difficult decision to seek protection and separate herself from the situation. It was not a publicized emotional explosion or dramatic collapse, it was a quiet but firm step toward reclaiming her sense of safety and identity. Once again, she had to rebuild. That experience left its mark on her. Not just as a celebrity, but as a woman who had now been forced more than once to choose between love and peace. And this time, she was more cautious. More aware. More protective of her emotional boundaries. So when rumors began circulating about Jennifer Hudson and the rapper Common, people paid attention. But this time, it wasn't just gossip, it was hope. Common had a different reputation. He was seen as thoughtful, poetic, and emotionally aware. A man who spoke about growth, therapy, and respect for women. Publicly, he often expressed admiration for Black women and spoke about emotional maturity in relationships. To many, he appeared grounded in a way that felt refreshing. For Jennifer, who had already been through emotional turbulence, this seemed like a different kind of connection. Something calmer. More intentional. Less chaotic. At first, it looked exactly that way. They were seen together at events, walking red carpets, sharing light moments that didn't feel forced or overly publicized. There was no over-the-top display of affection, no attempt to perform their relationship for attention. Instead, there was quiet comfort. And sometimes, quiet love feels the most real. Common spoke positively about Jennifer, describing her as someone who inspired him and brought out a better version of himself. Jennifer, in return, appeared lighter, more relaxed, as if she could finally breathe without pressure. For a moment, it seemed like she had finally reached something stable. But love stories, especially those built after trauma, are rarely simple. And slowly, things began to shift. As time passed, the energy between them began to change. The public appearances became less frequent. The warmth that once defined their connection started to fade into distance. The smiles that once looked effortless began to feel fewer and more controlled. And then came the whispers. Rumors began circulating that Common had been seen with other women. Stories of flirtatious behavior started to surface, creating doubt about his level of commitment. Alongside that, subtle comments appeared in the media, suggesting Jennifer was intense or had a lot going on. Statements like these often appear when a relationship is already losing its foundation. Not everything was direct. Nothing was officially confirmed in a dramatic way. But the energy had already changed. Then came the most significant shift. Talk began that Common may have been preparing to propose. According to insiders, there was an intention to take the relationship to the next level. But Jennifer reportedly said no. There was no public confrontation. No emotional breakdown. Just a calm, quiet refusal. "I'm not ready." Simple. Direct. Final. And sometimes, that kind of clarity is more powerful than any argument. Because for Jennifer Hudson, this wasn't about rejecting love. It was about recognizing timing, behavior, and emotional safety. She had already lived through relationships that looked right on the surface but felt wrong in reality. And she was not willing to repeat that cycle. Instead of pushing forward, she stepped back. And in that distance, the relationship quietly dissolved. No public statements. No dramatic explanation. Just silence. Jennifer chose not to turn her private life into public entertainment. She had done that before, and she understood the cost of it. This time, she chose privacy. She chose healing without an audience. Meanwhile, Common continued his public life without controversy or major fallout. The relationship simply became another chapter that ended without explanation. But behind the scenes, something deeper was happening. Jennifer Hudson was rising again. Her career continued to expand: television projects, awards, recognition, and respect across the industry. She was no longer just known for her voice or her past. She was becoming a powerful presence in her own right, and some observers believe that shift mattered more than people realize. Because sometimes, when a woman grows stronger, more successful, and more self-assured, it changes the dynamics of a relationship. Not every partner is prepared for that evolution. Not every connection survives growth.